Hola, bom dia. Carl Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream. A little later than usual, but very open to you joining me as ever. Do say who you are and where you are in the comments, please, or give me a call if you want to jump on and treat this like a phone-in with a commentary, request, observation from where you are in Portugal or even outside Portugal. I've had some correspondence by Twitter from somebody who said they tune into the live stream. And it's a bit like a soap opera, connecting with other people's lives who they don't even know, but it's helping them keep their dream alive for coming to Portugal ultimately, and their dream life in the Algarve, which has been obviously derailed just recently. So keep your chin up if you recognize yourself there, and let's hope you can be enjoying a cocktail or whatever it is you like to enjoy when you arrive in the Algarve sometime soon. However, having said that, that's our main focus today, is anticipating the state of emergency probably being extended. I will take a look at a Reuters news piece that came out yesterday around that, but it is all speculation because although it's likely, we don't know the specifics, and that will be decided today in the Portuguese Assembly. So yeah, hi, a few people joining us, I can see there. So yeah, who's there, and how are you doing today? I'm really keen to know. And sorry, I'm a bit late getting to my post this morning. So let's have a look at the numbers, the facts and figures, shall we? Endeavouring to keep it objective as we start the show, and just to let you know what's going on as best I can. We haven't looked at the world meter for a while. This is the big picture from worldometers.info, and this is the big picture. As you can see, approaching 1 million coronavirus cases around. This is not Portugal, I hasten to add. This is the global picture. 1 million cases around the world, approaching 50,000 deaths around the world. And that figure I personally look for, the recovery figure, approaching 200,000 recoveries with coronavirus. So let's look at the DGS website again, as we do in the morning, and see what's happening specifically in Portugal now. All of these, of course, you can do for yourself. That was Worldometers. There was the first one. Here's the DGS Health Directorate website for Portugal, with the current situation in Portugal. And as Craig Morfitt pointed out, if you just want a very quick and easy translation of any websites, look at things through Google Chrome. I know they are the web super corporation, and you might prefer a more anonymous, a less corporate browser at times, but for translation, I don't think Google can be beaten at the moment. So if you do use Chrome, it will automatically translate what is seen on the screen, and that's what I'm doing here for you now. 187 deaths in Portugal. You see the hotspots around the country on the graphical representation with the blue dots there. Obviously, the epicenters remain Lisbon and Porto. 58,000 suspected cases, 43 recoveries. And as we looked at yesterday, the recovery figure is low, and I think that's a testing issue. It's not because there aren't recoveries, it's just that they're not being tracked as actively as obviously what are seen as more important figures, which is the confirmed cases and the deaths so far, and the suspected cases. And so there you go. And as I've said before, you can use the switch here to go regional or more locally to see what's going on and find out what's happening in your particular part of the world or particular part of Portugal there. Excuse me. So that's covid19.min-saud.pt. Just search for DGS Portugal, and you're a couple of clicks and you're into this map here. Okay. Yeah, hi, Dawn and Stephanie here. Excellent to see you, Dawn and Stephanie. Dawn and Jerry. Hi to you, Jerry. And good morning from Tavira from Stephanie. And it's great. We're building a network. We have Stephanie and Tavira, Dawn and Jerry in the Algarve. I know Eloise joins us sometimes from Penella, saying hi from Penella. We have Neil from Evra. And, you know, a lot of people are a bit shy as well, don't want to say, but I'm sure there are other people who are checking in. As I said, the person who listens in the UK and sees this as a bit of a soap opera. And you are the stars of that soap opera. People like Dawn and Jerry and Stephanie. Who'd have thought it, that we would be unwitting characters in a soap opera that's unfolding a little bit of levity and upside to this in what is continuing to be a pretty stressful and anxious situation. So I'm trying to get the balance right on that. Let's now look at this article that is considering what could happen with the extended state of emergency. This is from Reuters, and Portugal prepares to extend state of emergency as deaths rise to 187, as you saw there. Lisbon. Reuters news desk, Portugal's government cleared the way on Wednesday for extending the state of emergency by 15 days to combat the spread of the coronavirus as the number of deaths from the disease nears 200. And there's a chilling, sobering picture from Lisbon, I take it. Oh, no, you beg your pardon. There's a municipal worker disinfecting streets at downtown Cascais to stop the spread of coronavirus COVID-19 in Cascais on the 28th of Portugal. These pictures becoming a familiar part of the reporting of the COVID-19 phenomenon, because that's what we're dealing with. I mean, certainly there's a virus at the center of it, but it's a phenomenon, isn't it, that we're dealing with more generally, and the effect on our daily lives, or moment-to-moment lives, really, and the economy and all life as we've known it. Anyway, President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa declared a 15-day nationwide state of emergency on March the 18th, the one we're already living in, which restricted non-essential travel and led thousands of businesses to close their doors. Lawmakers are due to put the 15-day extension to a vote on Thursday. That's today, the 2nd of April, and a majority have indicated they are in favour. It's looking likely, folks. This month is decisive for us to be able to control a pandemic, Prime Minister Antonio Costa told a news conference. The effort by the Portuguese to self-discipline is very important and should be reinforced. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Portugal has risen to 8,251, with 187 deaths, far fewer than neighbouring Spain. Costa said the country may be facing 1 to 3 months of restrictions on movement of people. So the extension, this isn't in the piece, by the way, this is me adding to it, but the extension of a second increment of 15 days would bring us to 1 month of restrictions, obviously. And there is a suggestion there, as politicians often do, just to kind of, send out a smoke signal of intention just to see how it's received, possibly there, signaling even 3 months of restrictions. We cannot be overly optimistic returning to the peace here, because we know that when restrictions are lifted, they have to be lifted slowly, Costa said. Cough, cough. It is not yet time to be in a hurry. Okay. Health authorities predict the number of cases and deaths will plateau at the end of May. Now, that's shifted, hasn't it? I mean, we were anticipating, those who've been looking at the numbers and the patterns here were having an understanding that it was April, then the end of April, then mid-May, and now the end of May. That's being pushed along. And I hope that plateau is going to be a lower plateau, if you see what I mean. And that's why it's being pushed further into the future, because we are flattening the curve. There will be a plateau. It will be further away, and the total numbers will be lower. That's what I make of that anyway, personally. A total of 3,600 companies, bit of background here, have applied for government support to pay a proportion of salaries for 76,000 workers whose jobs have been temporarily suspended as a result of the coronavirus, the Prime Minister said. We don't know whether this will last 1, 2 or 3 months, and this is obviously scary for everyone, Costa told SIC Television earlier on Wednesday. This is yesterday. Now, this is the big thing, isn't it, coming up? This is the test of the nation and its people and its character, the Easter holiday. With Easter weekend approaching, it says here, Reuters.com, Costa reminded the Portuguese that families cannot go home to visit their families. This year, we must tell immigrants not to come, referring, I think, to the people who live largely in France and in neighboring countries and other countries in Europe. We must tell immigrants not to come, and if they do, not to leave their homes. Bit of a mixed message there, right? Tens of thousands of Portuguese living in countries such as France, Luxembourg and Switzerland come to spend Easter and summer holidays in Portugal every year. And certainly if you live in the central part of Portugal, you will notice this phenomenon. And also a lot of Portuguese people, I think, head south as well. It's usual, I think, for Portuguese families to have a number of homes, and they will go there for the holidays. And this is what we need to be aware of, I suppose. I see a message here from Gary, new name to me. Hi, Gary. Any news on the outbreak in the old people's home in Alvaiazara? I did hear about the outbreak, Gary. I've no further news on that, but it was pretty chilling for the people around Tamar, obviously, and that part of Portugal, to see that had happened there in that old folks' home. If I do find anything further, I'll obviously let you know. And I advise you to look at Craig Morfitt's coverage as well. He's in Porto Expats Group is where he publishes his daily roundup, which is very good. I'm sure he'll mention that. But thanks for asking, Gary, and thanks for tuning in as well. And a bit of commentary from Stephanie. Okay, this doesn't sound positive from me, but it's very sad to see how Portugal has let the situation get totally out of control. Only 3 weeks ago, they were in such a good position, but alas, we have rapidly caught up with the worst situations: France, Spain, Italy. Our trajectory is increasingly grim now. The Algarve was in such a good position, but no longer. Yeah, I noticed that, Stephanie, that the Algarve, and I've got to be honest, I thought the Algarve was going to be especially disturbed by this because, well, it has, and it will be, obviously, from an economic point of view. But I thought, with the amount of people toing and froing, it was strange to see the figures in the Algarve were so low. I wasn't wanting them to be high, just to be clear. I was just thinking, well, yeah, it's going to be Porto, Lisbon, and the Algarve with the movement of people and so on. And from your point of view, you're thinking there that it's getting out of control, totally out of control. And I can understand why you're coming to that conclusion. And yeah, with the Reuters piece I read there, this is a situation that all the governments seem to be in, and with this sort of centralized power, is they're having to, I suppose, balance a lot of different influences and forces here with how they're managing this, like just venturing a little bit of information to see how the public responds to that, saying, don't come, the Portuguese immigrants don't come back, but if you do come back, stay at home. It's not very definite, is it? It might be more useful for people to be directed more clearly, like, don't come back, or we accept that you're coming back, there's not much we can do about that, but if you come back, observe this, and to take us out of the grey, I suppose, and make it a bit more black and white, so everyone can be on the same page and feel a sense of unity. I don't know, I'm just that's just my guess about these things, and it just seems to be a pattern among the European governments that they it's difficult for them to be very direct, isn't it? Because then you're facing the accusation of being dictatorial, the guy who put me on to the concern around all of this, Will Thompson, who I hope to get back on to the stream one day, who really got me to take this seriously. I was in that it's only a flu. I'll be honest, I was in that it's only a flu kind of camp before, and just hearing Will talking about it, an epidemiologist by trade, he was saying how serious this was going to be. And for some reason, I just thought, yeah, I need to listen to that. And we made the appropriate preparations as a family here. And thankfully, we're sort of in line with things. And, like everyone, you kind of have your doubts and concerns, and your mind and mood changes around all of this. It's bound to happen, isn't it? And there we are, stuck in our homes with a lot of time to think about it. Let's be fair. So a very difficult situation. I'm certainly no apologist for governments, but I do recognize that, with that centralized responsibility, it's a hideous job at the moment. I don't know who's handling it best. Portugal, I have to say, did seem to be. And for the benefit of the doubt, we'll see what happens today. And it looks to me like they're doing a pretty good job, relatively speaking. And good morning, Barbara. Thank you for saying hi. Hola, bon dia to you, Barbara Prince. Remind me, Barbara, which part of Portugal are you in? Yes, rather be dictatorial than dead, says Barbara. Yeah, and it was something that Will said. Excuse me. If you don't want to be dictated to, don't be somebody who has to be dictated to, if that makes any sense. The way some people have behaved in this kind of suggests and makes you think, well, actually, yeah, they do need to be dictated to. They're not just not getting this. And then for other people who are very happy to follow a general rule, it kind of affects them, doesn't it, and upsets them. And obviously, Stephanie, you're in that position where you're doing your best to observe things and are feeling threatened by the behavior of other people. Totally understand that. And you add, Stephanie, France is saying people cannot go and roads will be closed. Okay. So there's a link there to what the instruction to. So yes, they're perhaps locking people in rather than Portugal having to worry about it. They're locking people in because there is a mass influx of Portuguese people from France every year, certainly once a year. Notice this when I lived near Tamar. It's incredible. You know, all the number plates changed from P to F, you know, overnight, and all the picnic areas were full. And that's the other thing, isn't it? That's what people want to do when they come. They want to mix with their family, and they want to be out and about and enjoy what they love about their native Portuguese life. So I'm hoping, you know, it will be mercifully wise, and people will be able to control themselves and not do that this year for the greater good. But let's see. Barbara says she lives in Godinhas near Coimbra, which is about I'm not sure if that's Coimbra or Coimbrao. Is that a new place? I don't know. Godinhas near Coimbra or Coimbrao, which is about 30 kilometers from Leire. Good morning to you, Barbara. And it looks like we've got a couple of days, mercifully again, of decent weather, which helps, doesn't it? It's a mixed blessing again, because, yeah, you know, it's nice to be in the garden. You can be in your garden, but you can't go to all your favorite places when it's sunny. But to me, it's better than the wet and damp that we've been putting up with for so many months up to now. So perhaps we should leave it there this morning. I do appreciate you checking in and letting us know how you're doing. And like I said before, you know, we are part of a soap opera for a particular individual who listens to the live stream, listens to the YouTube video version of this, and it's just her dream of coming to Portugal is being kept alive by hearing us checking in and saying where we're from in Portugal in the morning. So we're at least offering a good service to that person who hopes to be in Portugal one day. Coimbrao, I do beg your pardon, Barbara. I bet you get that all the time. I'm going to have to look that up so I know for future reference. Coimbrao. And yeah, I'd never heard of that before. But still, you know, it's lovely to do my homework about Portugal, locked down as I am, and learn a lot. Yes, I'm sure you have to say that to a lot of people, Barbara. No, not Coimbra, Coimbrao. And Neil, just checking in there, sneaking in at the last minute. Neil, good to see you in Evra. Morning to me and morning to everybody else. And of course, please do talk to each other in the Stay Positive Portugal group, which is there for your at your service. Let's put it that way. To connect, to have, if you have any requests or observations or questions about, you know, your part of Portugal, updates from your part of Portugal. I think we do, you know, be good for us to be there for each other, not necessarily in that group, but just generally speaking, you know, as this goes on, this is a test of our character. It really is, I think. And on a parting note, thanks for the show, sir, says Gary. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate it. And sorry, lots of comments coming in now. Not a problem, says Barbara. Quite used to saying, no, not Coimbra. Not Coimbra, it's Coimbra. Thanks, everybody. Take care. And I do hope you're managing to find moments of peace and positivity in your daily lives, such as they are now. And yeah, okay, let's give the final word to Barbara, to everybody. Thanks, she says, and stay safe. Let me extend that to everybody else, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Até amanhã.